The top playing now section of the front page. Truly one of the most slop-filled parts of it. Or is it? To find that out, I decided to play the top 5 games to truly see if they are actually good games or just sloppy retention farms made for the bag. Going into this, I only give myself one rule, being that I need to play each game for at least 3 hours and then I'll be ranking them on this tier list, ranging from definitely playing this again to... yeah. Now to the very first game, and the most popular game, while I'm writing this, 99 Nights in the Forest, where you need to survive 99 nights in the forest, I guess. The moment I joined, I got jumpscared by the usual starter pack offer that every game does nowadays. And after I looked around the obby a bit, I went into my first game. There I found out the base promise of the game, being that you have to chop trees to upgrade your campfire, and once it's upgraded, the map expands, which means you can explore and loot buildings with a crafting and hunger system also being in place. Now back to the game. After I upgraded my campfire, I instantly spotted a fishing hut, and I thought that was rare, but I spawned next to one in all my other runs, so I guess it wasn't that rare. After doing some stuff like chopping up a bunny and looking at the crafting menu, it said that night was approaching, which is the main hazard, since during the night this freak ass deer thing spawned that is for some reason repelled from the campfire like I am from showers, and pisses off during daytime. And after it did turn day, I went through my usual business, collecting logs, and discovered a poster on the back of this probably really unimportant board reading, "It hates all light, flashlight, campfires, etc." Oh, so that's why it was repelled from the campfire like that. Then this dude wanting some feed showed up. I ignored him and rather upgraded my campfire once more. And then I murked some more bunnies for a foot, gave it to him, and he gave me a good axe for it. Which means instead of this, it's now like this. And during another pretty boring night, I looked at the crafting menu and set my sights on upgrading my crafting table, which required some wood and one piece of metal, which I didn't know how to get. So I went to explore a bit, where I stumbled upon one piece of metal on a log for some reason, and then I went up this tower where I found a flashlight and some goddamn revolver ammo. And after continuing to explore a little more, I stumbled upon a cave guarded by a couple of wolves. I, being the alpha I am, of course murked their asses and went right into the cave. Inside was a crying child, but more importantly, a chest which had a good sack in it. I instantly stuffed the child into that sack. After releasing it at my campsite, it settled there, and now I apparently have a 2x multiplier on my days. Maybe that missing kid sport wasn't so useless after all. And remember that tree stump metal? Yeah, I just upgraded my crafting table with it, which means that I can build a lot more stuff, except that most of these new things cost even more metal, which means I have even more exploration to do. So I went to this campsite near my own and finally found a revolver to my ammo. There was also this diary entry thing reading, "Someone has been stalking me out here. I've seen it move from the corner of my eye. It's taller than any human I've seen. It almost looks like a deer." Oh, scary, scary. Anyways, after that little voyage, I got some metal, put it on the crafting table and didn't use it. But that's because I didn't have time to use it, since it said that a mysterious group was making its way to the campfire. And the day had arrived now. So I whipped out the blicky and murked their asses. One of them dropped this amulet thing, which I instantly put into the crafting table. And when it turned day again, it started raining, which meant that my campfire was being extinguished and the wood was too wet to put into the campfire. So I built this wood storage thing, which didn't matter at all as it stopped raining almost instantly after I built it. And the rest of this run is just the same. Going to explore until night, go back and sit at the campfire during night and repeat. With the only thing worth mentioning being that I got this cutscene for this fuck ass owl that never decided to show up. And then I got jumped by them cultists again. But they've done had innovations in the last 2 days and built a blicky of their own. But their fuck ass crossbow was no match for King Talib. But then I did get stabbed to death by the others. All of this was 40 minutes of playtime. And I got to day 14. Which means that I need to play for about 4 hours and 43 minutes. which means that I need to get way more day multipliers. But luckily there's not only the kits, but there's also the beds you can craft, which also increase the multiplier by 1. So with this in mind, I went into the second game, where I did some exploring to gear up a little, since I wanted to save the first shell as quickly as possible. And when I went there, I got instantly mauled to death. So much for being the alpha. Because of that, I decided to play my next game in a squad of 5 people. And not even 3 minutes later, I was alone with this worm dude. But he was pretty experienced, having survived 727 days once. What reinforced that even more is that he brought back his first child within the first 2 days. And then he left as well, meaning that I was all alone again. But at least this time I had some nice progress, I guess. And since I didn't know what else there was to do, I just went exploring, and then I stumbled upon this prison, I think? Inside were a couple of cultists, but I made quick work of them and went to loot. And I even got one of those talismans for defeating all of them. Then the first wave of attacks got smoked, and then I continued doing some more exploration, eventually getting enough materials for a biofuel processor, which can turn all biological things like wood or meats into fuel for the campfire, which was pretty important since the campfire needs a hell of a ton of fuel for the next level, with a random ass rain having the ability to spawn and wipe all the progress you already had. And after a lot more exploration, I decided to finally rescue the second kid, and after some more resource gathering, I got thirsty in real life. So I went to get myself a cup of water, but in this not even a minute of time, it started raining, which means that the campfire was extinguished, which meant that I was getting slimed out by the deer. But luckily when I came back it instantly turned daytime, so I didn't get slimed out. And then I got struck by lightning, leaving me on 1 HP. So I used a bandage to heal up to half health again, and then I got struck by lightning again. Like, I don't know when Zeus became my number 1 op. But then, the night after, I got attacked again, where I got no-scoped by this dude with a crossbow. And now there's only 1 hour left for me to play. Exactly enough for 1 more game. But when I loaded into the lobby, I realized that I had gathered enough gems for my first class, the camper, which isn't really that good, the only perks right now being that you start with a flashlight and have 10% reduced hunger drain, but it's at least something. And then I went into another game with a few randoms, and like last time most of them left, except for one. His name was Erda, and was just interesting to watch. He was a newbie, just like me 2 hours ago. I noticed that he really liked fishing, since he was fishing a lot of the time. And then I went out to get the first kid, and he got a gun during that time, and when I brought the kid back, he tried shooting it. And with me having a spear and him having a revolver, the first wave of invaders got defended easily. And after that he just stood AFK in the campfire, so I went out to rescue the second kid, but when I came back, he was gone. I just continued, but was still sad because the game was getting a bit repetitive now. I was nearing the 3-hour mark, so I decided to make upgrading my campfire to level 5 my new goal, which I completed pretty quickly actually. And then I went off to rescue the third kid because I had already passed the 3-hour mark anyways, and there I got mauled to death by a bear. And that was 99 Nights in the Forest, and I have to say it's a pretty good game, especially compared to the other top games that I played. But it does get a little repetitive after a time. But I do think that it could be really fun if you're playing it with another person. So it goes in the would play with other people tier. Now yes, I might have spent a lot of time on 99 Nights, but the next few games won't take that much. Speaking of next game, it's Grow a Garden. You've probably already heard of it, since it literally broke records before. But you have to grow a garden, and to be honest, I've already played it like 4 months ago, and my garden looks like this. Also, I recorded this on a Saturday, which will be important later. Getting back into this game, I found out that there's now achievements, which is pretty nice to chase during the challenge. And also another thing I wanted to do was pass $10 million. Another thing that was going on during this was a fairy event, where a couple of plants would get the glimmering mutation, and you could donate them here I guess, but it wasn't really that important to me at the time. That reminded me to talk about mutations. They are basically multipliers to a plant's value, which can be applied through weather events or just when the plant begins growing. Write this down too, this will be important later. Anyways, back to my game. At first I just looked around the new menus, and to be honest, I don't really know what I was doing here. I was just planting and selling stuff. I did get a sample seed from an event, which was pretty nice I guess. But then I got a new neighbor whose fat ass plant was growing into my garden, so I thought about stealing it, but then I remembered my net worth of 2 Robux, so I just decided to make a private server to farm in without interruptions. And for some reason I was on the loading screen for a little bit, and during this little bit a thunderstorm happened, which shocks fruits, giving that 100 times value, and one of the fruits struck was a mango, and when I sold it for $1 million. And then this random portal appeared which had nothing important in it, but when I came back there was a star shower, which gives fruits the celestial mutation, which is also really good. And after gathering everything, I went over to sell my stuff and it sold for $5 million, which means that I already reached my goal of 10 million. Quicker than I expected. But when I said I gathered everything, I meant I gathered everything except my mangoes, since by not gathering them, they'd keep the celestial mutation, which meant that I could wait for more weather events to happen for more mutations. And then I didn't really do that much for 20 minutes. I just did the usual buying and selling, earning 2 million in the process. But do you remember the part where I said that it was Saturday? Well, the reason that was so important is because during Saturdays, the owner of the game, Jandel, hosts these admin abuse sessions, which are more like live events rather than actual admin abuse, which are held to hype up the update that gets released right after. In these admin abuses, he summons a whole bunch of weather events and also restocks really rare items in the shops. And that's also what he did. I will only go over the more important things here, like the glitchy event, which gave my plants the glitch mutation, which multiplies their value by times 85, which is pretty nice, and there's also a lot of other events, with them mutating my mangoes and some new bamboo that I've planted. And then, when I looked in the seed shop, a sugar apple seed was in the shop, with the problem being that it cost 25 million. And I'm sitting at half of that. So I decided that it was worth it to sell all my bamboo that I've just gotten, barely getting over 25 mil, and then I purchased the sugar apple. But you won't see it grown though, it just takes way too long. And after a little more, the update was out and the abuse was stopped, which means that I could finally sell my mangoes, with the first one selling for 2 mil. But when I clicked to sell my whole inventory, I got 15 million. I still don't know what was worth 13 million, but I'm lucky that it was worth that much. Then I got another 15 million from selling a bunch of other fruits, and then another 5 million from the rest of my farm. And the new update brought some kind of fall sale event. I still don't really know what it's about, but what I do know is that I blew $30 million on turnips and then proceeded to watch TikTok for the last 30 minutes. And in hindsight, this game isn't meant to be played for that long. And probably the only reason I found this game slightly fun was because I got lucky so that my playing session overlapped with the admin abuse. But anyways, I think it might be fun, but only if your playing sessions are short, not long, with logging on every once in a while because of the grows offline feature. Because of that, it goes into the play every once in a while tier. And now onto the next game. It's still a Brainrot. Now in this game you have to buy Brainrot characters off of this carpet. They then produce money for you to buy more. So it's basically just a tycoon with a lot of RNG. And with another engagement tactic being that you have to constantly lock your base every minute or else other people can come in and steal your Brainrot. There's also a rebirth system where you can reset everything for a small cash boost and to unlock new items in the shop. And look, this game, as you hopefully already know, is really bad, and to be honest, I only lasted 1.5 hours in this game instead of 3. A big part of that is that the tools, they're just way too strong and annoying to face. Like, there was this one dude that kept putting me on a leash and ragdolling me, forcing me to reset each and every single time. Legit, the only enjoyable part was seeing some kid arguing because someone else sold something. And the only statistic you need to know in this time is that I got 3 rebirths before quitting. And it should be obvious that I'm putting this shit in the would rather inject myself with a lethal dose of before playing this again tier. And look, I don't have no money for that since I'm not monetized yet. But if you drop a sub, just a single sub on this channel for free, please, I need subscribe please! And for game number 4, it's I don't really know. I've mentioned that it was Saturday before, and since basically every game was updating, the lower 2 spots were constantly changing. So I decided to wait and record the rest tomorrow. To be honest, I didn't do shit tomorrow. I just rot in my bed all day like usual. But the next day, and to my surprise, I actually got to playing game number 4, Blox Fruits. Yes, the Sigma Noradrenaline Balkan Rage game. But to be honest, I was actually pretty surprised. The game basically revolves around grinding. You have to kill these NPCs over and over again to level up, and eventually you're able to get Blox Fruits, which act as sort of superpowers. Spawning in, I realized that I apparently already played this before. But not much. I was level 7 and had a cutlass as a weapon. So I instantly got to killing a few bandits and quickly got a message that there's a new quest available, just on a jungle island, so I bought a boat to sail over there. And when I arrived, the quest giver gives me a quest to kill these monkeys. Why? And after a bit of murder, I got a musket just to see, and it sadly wasn't that powerful. And after even more grinding, I was able to accept another quest from the same NPC to kill gorillas on the smaller island next to the jungle. There I tried to kill the gorilla king, but then this happened. And then the dude that did that came over and gave me a magma fruit. And what I didn't mention yet is that to buy your first fruit, you have to reach level 50. And I was level 24. But at the start it wasn't that powerful anyways, because of the skill point system. Because every time you level, you get 3 skill points that you get to use on one of these stats. And my Blox Fruit stat was pretty low. So I killed more gorillas for XP and made sure to finish them off with Magma Fruit's ability, because that also gains the Fruit Mastery XP, which unlocks more moves instead of just this one. And really quickly I reached Mastery level 10, unlocking Magma Floor, where you go into the ground, leaving a magma trail behind you. And it wasn't that good, but it might be because I didn't do enough testing, since after that another dude just showed up and gave me a flame fruit, and my dumbass, assuming it was better, ate it instantly and then got killed by the dude. And to the day I'm writing this, I still don't know if it's better or worse than the magma fruit. If you know anything about this game, say it in the comments, I guess. But anyways, I got a high enough level so that I could travel to the next quest giver. And I just had to kill the NPCs on this island, which wasn't that hard with the fire bullets I was able to use, but I had to still do this over and over for 15 minutes, just to be able to accept a quest to kill the NPCs on the other side of the same island. And this is where the repetitiveness comes into play. You see, you need to spend a long time getting on level to be able to receive quests to kill the next enemy. Like I said, I spent 15 minutes killing pirates and then almost an hour killing brutes. For context, I did unlock another quest where I needed to kill the boss NPC of the island, but it simply just took way too long to respawn, so I basically just killed brutes, unlocking this pretty cool fire blast move along the way. But even though it is kind of grindy, I kinda like these kinds of games. I have almost 50 hours on Cookie Clicker, goddammit. It's just that in this game, you just go way too long without obtaining anything new. Like eventually I did reach a desert island and unlocked the fire column ability there, and then went to the snow area where I reached level 100 along with the 3-hour mark. Just that there isn't really anything to talk about since my brain was basically on autopilot. I guess I got this tough screenshot. Holy tough. But in the ranking I'ma put it in the might play at 3 AM while bored tier. And moving on to the next game, it's Brookhaven. But we both know that it wouldn't be interesting for me or for you, so I just decided to skip it and play the 6th most popular game, Fish It. Surprisingly, it's a fishing based game with some small inspirations taken from another popular game. And the engagement tactic that this game uses is that the progress is incredibly fast at the beginning, taking me only 10 minutes to get through the first 2 rods, and then it slows down by an incredible amount, taking me 30 minutes to upgrade from the ice rod to the lucky rod. And to be honest, this game was just forgettable. Like, I just constantly sat there just at different locations, and there's even an AFK fishing button which automatically throws out the rod. And at least Blox Fruits had some cool looking visuals. And I even had to cut this game an hour short because it was just boring. But still, if this was the only thing I could play, I would play it. Not like Steal a Brainrot. So it goes into the will most likely not play again tier. So this is the final tier list, and as you might realize, there's literally no game on the top tier. But at least from these 5 games, you people chose the best one to be at number 1. And looking at it really closer, the placements mostly align with the most played games. Except for Steal a Brainrot, of course. But what game would you put at the top? Yes, I'm asking you people since my pick legit changes monthly. Right now it would probably be Bee Swarm, but I bet by November it will be another game. So yeah, that was it. And you might have also noticed that I didn't really include Plants vs Brainrot, and that's because that game literally popped off like 2 days after I recorded this. And I'll probably be making a separate video on it, so subscribe. But yeah, I'm also like trying to move away from shorts and actually do real videos, so like I hope you guys liked it, but if you didn't really like it, then here's the playlist to my underrated games shorts if you actually want anything good to play. Yeah, make sure to subscribe and goodbye.